Is it possible to make money online from South Africa?
The short answer, yes. So in this video, we'll be exposing all your favorite gurus, exactly how they made their money from start to finish, how we made our money, what we're doing, our future plans, how we started all of this, exactly our thinking patterns behind the decisions we made, the purchases we made, the mentorships we joined, why we joined them. So this is going to be a value-packed one. Basically going to be unveiling all the curtains of everything, our business model, and also what other people are doing and why we are following them, copying them, because ultimately if you want to succeed, just see what other people are doing and copy the exact strategy. There's a reason it worked.
I mean, if you ever wanted to know, like, what do we actually do, right? Like, how does Imon Gatsi make his money, or Hamza, or Alex Hormozi, or Charlie Morgan, any of these big names, right? How do they actually do it? And you guys have probably seen us somewhere, and you guys have maybe wondered, what do we actually do? That's exactly what we're going to be speaking about, right? How to actually make money online from South Africa. And it's simple, but it's not easy, right? It's like hitting the gym. We know if you want to be in good shape, it's fairly easy. Just go to the gym consistently and to an extent eat in a deficit, right? But obviously, it's not that easy. So
I saw a stat that said 80% of the US population over 30 is obese. So people have the knowledge. That's the thing. If people think they lack the knowledge, but eat less and move more, you've got your answer. The same in business is put your offer in front of people consistently and hop on sales calls. Like that's all you need to do. But people aren't doing it. So I think it's a good place to start. It's like why we even wanted to do this in the first place, right? So my main reason was I just wanted not to be broke. Like that was like my main motivation to start off with, honestly. Like I just wanted to make a lot of money. That was basically it. There was no like grand purpose. Like the purpose kind of unveiled itself as we continued the journey. But the real one was like, it's not flashy, it's just I wanted to make a lot of money, I wanted to travel, I didn't want a boss, that's it, I don't want to be broke. This is the last year of being broke. Like that was kind of my motivation.
I think it's a weird thing, but I was working a sort of 9 to 5, a more normal job, and I just knew while I was doing that there was something empty inside, but I knew it was like meant to do something. Like, was this it, right? Like, I sat and I'm like, is this the extent of my life? Is this what it's going to be like? And so I don't necessarily think I did it out of the idea to just necessarily be rich, which was obviously one of the main motivators. I think it just came down to living an exciting life, and it felt like that wasn't exciting to me. And I like the idea of freedom, right? And the first thing that really got me into it was Imon had like this saying back in the day, which was like location, time, and financial freedom, right? When I heard that, like true freedom, I'm like, fuck, this sounds pretty cool, right? I want that. And I like the idea of traveling and working for myself and on my own terms. And I think that's what drew me into the online business space specifically, because if you work online, you already have location freedom. And then if you are working for yourself, so you're an entrepreneur in this online business space, well then, you have time freedom, and you can have financial freedom if you just have a good product, right? And especially if you're in South Africa, selling to the US, right? And you're earning in dollars and spending in rand, that financial freedom, or at least how much you need to earn, is a lot less.
Oh yeah.
And
it's
so
a lot
just
more
easier.
achievable than most people think.
Yeah.
To be in the 1%, like obviously every man watching this, mostly like I think 80%, I haven't really checked the stats, 80% men or something, probably around there, right? Watch our content, maybe 80, 90%. And you want to be like, the top 1%, like the best lifestyle. And to be in the top 1% in Dubai, you need $16 million. Okay, so good luck with that. Yeah. And then if you want to be top 1% in America, you need to have $4 million. And top 1% in South Africa, you need $200,000 net worth, right? So there's a lot more net worth, by the way. So we've made more than that in total earnings. So it's already like top 0.1, and like we are in the early 20s. We started this a couple years ago. So it's definitely achievable. Obviously, we are extremely hardworking, delusional people, and we think we can do anything. But that's part of it, right? But you obviously need to work hard and follow the right roadmaps, which leads us to our next one, which is the first thing I did once I made some money, right? Well, okay, I didn't work a 9 to 5, so I didn't that was like a life goal of mine is to not work a 9 to 5. But when I made my first online money, it's actually from Iman Gadzi. I was his short form content editor, so I'm very lucky in that aspect. But also, I was building up the skill sets of short form editing.
Explain
and all
how
of
you got into that, because people might think, oh, like, how did you work for Iman? How did that happen specifically?
Yeah, so I wanted to become a fitness influencer. Like I thought I was going to become like a young LA sponsor. You know, like if I follow that route, maybe. No. Okay, maybe.
That's where we actually met, was in the gym.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just basically editing my own reels. Like that was basically it, like on CapCut. Like nothing really crazy. But I was, one night it was like 8 p.m. I was done with work. My dopamine receptors were fried, so I was scrolling on Instagram stories. Best thing ever. Scrolled through there. I saw Iman had a story, and he's like, "I'm looking for short form editors." And I'm like, "Yo, I'm hopping on this." I filled out that document right there and then. I said, "I'm a hardworking South African individual, disciplined. Like, put me on, coach." And then, like the next day, I got an email to do like a Zoom meeting. And the funny thing is, on that Zoom meeting, I was on my shitty laptop. Like, I didn't even know the name of the laptop. It's so bad. Now I have a MacBook, fortunately. So I was on the laptop, and my microphone didn't even work. So I hopped on, and like I was just like, "Yo, what's up?" And like he couldn't hear me. He's like, "Yo, sorry, I can't hear you." I'm like, "No way." My one getting out of the Matrix card, right? It's just like fumbled the bag right there and then. So fortunately, we rescheduled the call. I hopped on my iPhone because my mom bought that iPhone for me. I'm very grateful for that. And then, I got that job. So it was basically just, building up a skill set and just acting on an opportunity when I got it. You've got like a similar one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to first get back to that, some people might call that luck. And there's obviously a part of everything in life comes down to luck, fate, God's timing, however you want to put it. But also, Andre positioned himself to grab that opportunity or that luck, right? By following his interest. He just did something. If you don't know what to do, set a goal, do something. Gym influencer, even if it wasn't that like 100% clarity or know exactly if that is what he wants to do, he built his skill up, a different opportunity came down the line, and he had some form of value to add to that. So when the luck happened or the opportunity arose, he then had the courage and faith to back himself to take action on that, and that's how he ended up working with Iman, right? Same thing happened to me. When I actually started a real estate agency in South Africa, in Durbanville, and I started in sales there, okay? And that was just terrible. I sucked at sales in that point of time, right? And I then found a lot more passion in the marketing aspect of it. And so then I started doing photos and videos of the properties. I actually just took a video because we met in the gym, and I actually did also some content in the gym thing. And I actually then took a video of an event at the real estate agency that I was at. And my boss back in the day, and I love that man. I owe a lot to him. He was actually an extremely good mentor to me. And he basically said, "Oh, he really likes this video. Do I not want to come and do a video of one of the properties?" And then he said, "Okay, cool, I'll pay you for this. Can you do photos?" And I did photos. And then that ended up being a 2-3 year career that I then transitioned into different production gigs, right? Then I actually was a model at this underwear brand that we had that's here in Cape Town, which I a bit slightly regret doing.
I almost did that as well. I got a message from Instagram. It's like some boss fucking thing. I'm like, "Yo." Your money is tight.
Bro, I was like, fuck this, bro. Like, whenever am I going to do another shoot for an underwear thing, right? And so I just did it. But that's where it all came down to, right? So I grabbed that opportunity, right? I put myself in that thing and I'm like, fuck it, I might as well. And then I actually, because I was in the production thing, I just naturally spoke with the guys doing the photos and videos, right? It's like, "Yo, what camera do you have? Whatever. And then I actually asked them, and once again, this comes down to, that might have been luck, but also I took the courage and faith to ask him, "Yo, can I maybe join you at a shoot? I'll come for free, you work for free. I want to see what you guys do." And turns out this guy had 1.4 million followers on TikTok, and he worked with Woolworths, like very big brands in Cape Town specifically. And so then I ended up landing a job with him that I bought a lot, and once again, I owe a lot to that guy. There was actually a full circle moment. He wanted me to start a podcast for him, and then around a year later, I think we got him on the podcast, or we were talking about getting him on a podcast or whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is cool, full circle moment. But that's how things happened for me. And then went to a networking event, met Serge, and that's where everything really took off. But I had that skill, which came from real estate, which I had no intention of doing long term. Ended up going to a model thing that ended up me meeting this guy, built a really cool like skill, and then networking event, meeting surge, and then service delivery for him. So
if you enjoy this conversation and you relate with the health and wealth aspect, and you know both of these are very important when it comes to scaling a business or just as an entrepreneur in general, top link in the description if you want a more personalized approach, to scaling a business or in the health aspect as well. And also in the description is access to our free community where we've got 20 hours of content that you can just consume.
100%. If you enjoy this conversation, share it to a friend. Maybe think about subscribing, put the notifications on. It helps the channel a lot. And by doing so, we can get some more interesting guests like this. So let's get back to the video.
It's crazy how fast things can happen in the online space as well. Like 3 years, like your life can change completely. And you just imagine like another 3 years on top of that, it's compounding, right? But the main thing you can really take from this is like just to put one foot forward in front of the other. Like, you're not going to know exactly what you're going to do. Like we kind of know now in like 5 years roughly, but it's going to change quite a lot, I assume.
And still we don't know. Like we sort of know, but
we don't really know. So all you can do is like, think of this analogy. You're driving a car in the mist, right? And your headlights can only see like 5 meters ahead. So if you look 100 meters ahead, you're going to probably wrap your car around a tree. So you don't want to look too far ahead. Just look like the next couple of steps and just put a foot forward in front of the other, and like the mist will start to evaporate a bit and you'll see, oh, there's a better path. Maybe I do this, maybe I do this. Maybe you go down that path and you're like, okay, that's maybe not the one. And then you go back. Like there's a cool analogy I heard. There's a lot of ways to get to the top of a mountain, right? Like, there's a lot of paths to the top, and the top of the mountain is like success, right? There's a lot of paths. There's a million ways to make $1 million. It's like that kind of thing. So you should just like do stuff, and there's no real strategy, right? You can follow principles. That's why autobiographies are so important to read that, because then you can kind of link all of the 100 most successful entrepreneurs and see how they thought. And then you can follow those thinking patterns. But there's no real strategy. Like everyone at the end of the day has to figure it out for themselves.
Go listen to Founders Podcast. That's pretty good. So it's, what's his name again?
David Senra.
David Senra. He basically, his life purpose is to read all these autobiographies of great founders, and then he just makes an episode per book, which is obviously, amazing. So go ahead and have a look at that. And I think a big thing is, a lot of people actually wrote an essay about this. You guys could probably subscribe to the newsletter down below somewhere. And I wrote about, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on self-belief and whatever. But I think faith is something that's even more important, because that is something that's not rooted in oneself, right? It's like taking action, like self-confidence or self-belief says essentially like, I can do this because I've done it before. But faith comes down to, I can do this even though I've never done it before, right? Or at least I believe so. I have faith that I can do that. And especially if you're taking action in like a domain, like for example, Andrew jumping on a call with Iman, like he's never done that before. But he had faith in himself, or not even necessarily in himself, just something greater, that this is going to work, right? And I think that's very important. It's like you need to learn the skill, whatever you might call it, is you need to learn how to be able to take the risk, to back yourself, that whatever you are doing, it's going to work out.
I got a perfect example to illustrate this point. So when I applied for that job, right, like when I mentioned, we can continue with that arc basically. So I applied for the job. So I sent out, filled out the document, right? And obviously I had to wait for a response. I didn't get a response right away. It took I think 3-4 days, whatever, because they had a lot of applications, right? The funny thing is, right when I applied for that job, I dropped out the next night, okay, out of university, I dropped out. And then the following night, I got the job. So I think if I didn't drop out, I might not have gotten that job, because what does me dropping out signal to the universe? It's like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I even told my parents when I applied, I'm getting this job. And I had literally no evidence. I get no reply. I just applied, and there's thousands of applications, and I'm just like, of course I'm going to get this. I dropped out, and then the next morning I got a message or email, yo, I liked your application, let's hop on a call.
That's why all these successful people are so weird, right? Because just think about how delusional you need to be to do something like that, right? It's like all these people that I meet also, it's like, they so it's weird people, right? But I'm weird, right?
No, we're super weird.
You also how do you go and tell your parents, yo, I just dropped out of university, I know I'm going to get this job, yet you got no experience in that domain. You don't even know if they're legit, right? It's just like the social media guy. And yo, you haven't got any feedback, right? Like that's a delusional thing to do. It might be like ignorant faith, it might, whatever you want to call it, like that's the type of thing that it takes to do and pursue this. And like when I started out in this industry, I always knew like I could do something and be great at something if I knew what that thing was. And if I could just, submit myself to one thing, I know I can force success in any domain, right? I just wanted to get something that I'm passionate about. And I always wondered, like, how would that feel? What is that thing? And I can promise you, there's no one way, like Andre said. It's literally putting one step forward, setting a goal, and while you proceed to that goal, even if the worst possible outcome is, at least you know what you don't want now. And on your way towards that goal, there will be new opportunities that arise that you will set new goals towards that you can then work towards, right? But part of achieving any goal is there's a lack, right? Is where you are right now and where you want to be. And to work through that lack, or essentially the friction, is you need to believe it's possible to achieve it before taking action. Like, imagine going to the gym. Like that's why gym is such a beautiful analogy and beautiful thing. It's because if you need to start hitting the gym, right? There's a lot of friction. You're small, skinny, you look terrible, right? Or especially compared to the other people in the gym.
I still remember my first day in the gym.
Exactly. And so working through that, there's something you learn there, which means is taking action, believing that you will look better one day or later. It takes long to see results. Okay, you have the newbie gains, it's faster, I guess, but it still takes time, right? So you were taking action without seeing any results, believing that you're going to look better down the line. So you are unconsciously learning that by tapping into, faith or believing in yourself and taking action, working through the friction, you can change your life.
I remember my first day in the gym, right? I think it was 7 March. I forget the year. I remember the date, but I forget the year because the years kind of blend into each other. But it's been 7 years now, right? And you know that chest press machine where you lie down and you stack the weights on top of like this arms? Like you lie down and where you stack like the 20 kilograms and then underneath is like the 20 kilogram plates where you take off and you put on top. I was taking the plates from the bottom. And I was like, why is this not getting heavier? I still remember that to this day.
Was this at Virgin Active Red?
Yeah. So hopefully you guys, maybe we can add a picture of like the machine, right? It's like you lay down and like you put plates on top of it and then you can kind of bench it, right? I was taking the plates from the bottom where like you stack the plates or you rack it. And I was like, why is that thing not getting heavier? And I just left the machine. I'm like, this doesn't work. It's my first day. Okay, so back to when we obviously started making some money online. So when that first paycheck hit, I didn't really do much. Actually, like my first or second paycheck, right? I still got the screenshot of the first one. Let me see if I can actually get it. But my second one, I actually invested into mentorship instantly. So Iman had a course at the time, which was called Agency Navigator, and I just bought that.
I also bought that.
Yeah, and that was like my second paycheck, and that helped a ton. Like that just opened up the
And you know what's
doors.
Crazy? Every single person, or like so many, like not everyone, but like
I need to
so
show
many
this.
other people that we work with right now.
This is my first payment, my first online payment. Look at the audio, all right, as well. $740. I thought, we made it, man. We made it.
And like so many of the people we spoke with, all was in that course. So it's irrelevant to the course. It comes down to the principle. Every single person that's on the level that we aspire to be and or similar to ours, invest in mentorship and went through that. And it's not because that was necessarily great. I don't think it was. But it was one of the more popular ones. So just meaning that anyone that invested in mentorship in that time probably went through that. So that just means the principle stands. If you want to get to a high level or where we are right now, education is key. Knowledge is extremely valuable and mentorship is a non-negotiable. And because I went through that just after Andre went through it. And it's actually funny because you can go back and have a look at your intro messages. Fuck, I don't even think I want to like see mine, but
I don't have mine.
Let me see if I can.
I don't have mine. I just logged in.
But no, you didn't even because like you obviously introduce yourself, right? So I remember the emotions of that person, right? It was like 2 years ago. But I remember vividly, this guy's so hopeful. I'm like, I'm Quinter from South Africa. Can't wait to lock in with you guys. Hit me up. Let's make this happen. Send a selfie, like just after the gym. And and then one of my friends who was also in that, just because we actually wanted to do some outreach.
on the
I don't even know if we can mention that, but Anyways, and one of our setters actually sent me my photo, and that was quite a funny experience. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, I didn't have one. I just I bought in and locked in. Like
you didn't want to speak to anyone.
Monk mode. Let's make this shit happen. let's get rich. So yeah, and the thing is, like, that didn't really work. Like I didn't sign a single client from that. Like I started a gym agency. I did cold calls for 4 to 5 hours a day. Booked like 15 meetings, didn't close a single client. And that was over like 3-4 months. So people join programs and then they're like, yo, where's my clients? It's like, yeah, I don't think you realize it's going to take, like, even me, I would say I'm very hardworking and, I've got a lot of the traits that's required, right? It even took me like 12 months to really, like 6 to 12 months to sign my first client. And then I, saved up some money. Actually, I don't know if fired was the right word. They just like, I wasn't like, didn't do a bad job. It's just like, they just, what's the word? Let go of some people, okay? Well, okay, I was fired.
As a cope.
Yeah, as a cope. I was fired there and I lost that job. I'm like, yeah, my life's over. And then I joined another influencer, basically helped him with social media marketing, and then saved up some money, some more. And then I bought a big program, which was $10,000, okay? And at the time, I did not have the money for that. So that's close to 200,000 Rand. And I only had 32,000 Rand in my bank account, okay? So how much is that? 7 times more than what was in my savings. I'm like, and he mentioned the price. He's actually a good friend of ours now. He closed me in the program. It's 7 times more than my savings.
He's in our program.
He's now in our program. So yeah, 7 times more. And I'm like, yo, let's do it. So people need to realize this. Like even now, I mentioned this in the vlog, but like I'm taking all of my money that I have right now and investing it into skills. All of it. Like Iman is doing a retreat in December here in Stellenbosch, actually. Going to be massive. I just have to be there. It's just no questions asked. Doesn't matter. I will sell my car. I don't even care. You need to get to that level. Not necessarily do it, but be at the point where you are willing to do it. And do it. Okay, like, you need to be able to risk it all. Yeah. Like it's in that poem.
I was about to mention the poem.
You need to be able to risk it all and lose and don't care and go again.
Yeah,
you need to be at that level. Truly.
Yeah. It's and the big part of that is, right, it's like, risk it all, lose everything, and then continue to start all from scratch. But the most important part there is, and not make a sound about that what you lost, right? Like to not
There's
care at all.
There's one word for that, and that's stoicism.
Stoicism, yeah. It's like you don't care. It's not about that, right? It's about the journey, the progression, whatever you might call it. And I think it's a testimony. Like, we don't have to mention the amount, but it's a shit ton of money. And also,
it's $500,000 Rand.
It's $500,000 Rand. Like, think about that. Even if you had $500,000 Rand now, would you invest that into a program?
All of it.
It's fucking, that's a lot of money, right? So, but anyways, I also think a big thing is coming back to the mentorship, right? It's like, he had to have 32,000 Rand at least to invest, right? Like, if you had nothing.
It's not that much money. Like, you can save a couple, if you work in a job, like, you can save 32K. Yeah. It's not life-changing.
You need to, like, you can't be doing nothing, right? Like, there's progression in this thing. And so, like, you can't just, like I do believe a very important part of, like, because how we then started the agency, we can get into that now, is like we essentially built that around the skills that we both had and we pivoted into it, right? So the reason why we could do what we're doing right now is because we already were part of a good team. Andrew worked with Iman, with this other influencer we don't need to mention. I worked with a couple of really high-level people in a great team as well. So when we came together and started building the business, we already knew how a good team looks like.
And all of this, like we mentioned, it's like, 25 minutes in this video, but it's 2 years in real life. Yeah. It's like the Rocky cutscene type of thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, we're mentioning all of this, like, oh, we mentioned a program, we made some money, cool. But actually, that was like 2 years of our life for just suffering.
I remember vividly going through, like doing work at night, like grinding, but knowing that I'm not seeing any results right now, and I'm saying no to going out. Like, this was just my journey. Like, I didn't go out. Just because I was doing long distance with my girlfriend at the time, or my fiance now, but girlfriend at that time, and I knew if I was going out, I was thinking of her or whatever, so I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to be working. But also, I knew what I was working on wasn't a long-term thing, so I was saying no to going out because I'm building my business, but also, I was actually just trying to figure out what fucking business should I start.
You don't even have a business.
Yeah, I didn't even have a business yet, but I knew I'm fucking building a business, right? And so there was a time for like 6 to 12 months that I was just trying to figure it out, and I wasn't seeing any results. And that was the worst feeling ever. At least now, if I'm not going out or saying no to things, there's some measurement that I can see to progression, right? It still takes time. I still need to look in like months, but I can look back at 3 months and be like, yo, okay, there was some progression here, and there. And that's a good feeling. But in the beginning, that's why most people give up in the beginning. It's because there is no progression to a large degree. Because the most progression comes down to actually deciding what niche, what business model, what all of that. And hopefully in this video, we can clarify the best business model, what we at least believe to be, and maybe potential niches you guys can move into.
Yes. So before we even hop into that, like before I started working with Iman, right, 2 years before that, I started doing Forex trading, drop shipping, Instagram theme pages, like affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
I did all these things, crypto, lost all my money there. Like I just lost money constantly. All the savings I had, boom, gone. My mom gave me some money, which I'm grateful for, boom, gone. Sorry, mom, but now it's fine. I'll take you to Thailand. So, you need to go through all these things, and it takes years. It takes literally years of just trial and error. But I've got this one quote where, if you can stay optimistic during the uncertainty, you'll make it. If you can stay optimistic for those years where literally nothing is happening and it's just failure after failure and eating glass, but you're still like, yo, we're making it, you know, then you will make it, honestly. So, to transition over to that. So I bought this $10,000 program, 200,000 Rand. I only had 30K in my bank. I'm like, yo, let's do it. I can't even do it, but like we split up the payments, right? So I literally went into debt. I had to sign clients from the program to pay off the rest of the program. I did that. And in 6 months, we made 400,000 Rand a month with the business. So, it's like entrepreneurship is like for 3 years or 2 years, whatever, right? You're going to see nothing. It's like the story of the bamboo, which I'll get into, right? For 2-3 years, let's say 2 years, you'll see you're putting in all this effort and you're getting nothing out of it, right? And then in 1 month, you just make like hundreds of thousands of Rand. You're like, and then people are like, oh, how did you get this overnight success? But they didn't see all this turmoil you had to go through for 2 years and get nothing. The thing with a job, it's kind of like instant gratification. You can see entrepreneurship as extreme delayed gratification. And instant versus delayed is probably better, right? Instant gratification with a job, it's like you work 30 days and you get an instant payment, Entrepreneurship, you work for 2 years, get no payments, and then in 1 month make more than they did for years. And then you do that every single month.
And then you probably reinvest all that in mentorship to then go back
to
zero.
And then you take all that profit and invest it again in skills and lose it all and make no money. And then,
It's not even about the like, I mean, like that's the thing. If you're going to start out doing this, like maybe you start out doing this to get rich, but you're not going to actually get rich if that's the only goal. Like you have to get to a point where you want to see the business grow or serve people or whatever, right? Because like money or the revenue goal is just a bonus or an add-on that comes with achieving the actual goal, right? Like, do you think Elon or Microsoft or all these big businesses, like, do you really think they have revenue goals, but the main goal is to sell 1,000 MacBooks or whatever, And that's just the same thing with this. Like, let's say you just want to get rich. That's
fine.
Sort of a good way to start, right? But there's a point where, because to progress, to get to a certain level, you're going to have to invest all that money again back into mentorship and into the business. And if all you want is the cash, well, it's going to be a point where you're going to be left behind. It's like making 500K, like Rand, you can just just now keep that. Now you have that money, right? There was a point where you wanted to be rich. You could argue that's rich, right? But now you want to invest into mentorship.
Yeah, it's about progress.
So that's progress. So a transition from the first beginning was get rich. Now it is progression. Ultimately, the progression is going to lead to still getting rich, but it changed. It's not first thing being money, because now the progression gives you the rich, but it's now progression.
Yes,
I wanted to mention now, I don't know what I wanted to mention. The actual, so now we can go into how we decided to do the agency, right? So I mean, first, before Andre can mention how we decided to do that, I think to clarify what exactly we do, essentially we just do social media marketing agency. Agency is just a term given for business that delivers a service. So we deliver a service. The service is social media marketing. That's a service, right? So there's different ways you can do it. You can do it through ads, create content for people, which is essentially what we do.
You can now, new thing is like implementing AI automations or AI solutions to companies. Agency is basically delivering a service, right? We don't necessarily help people now this is like in the consulting business we don't help people start a social media marketing agency. We help them start an agency. So it can be social media marketing, it can be lead generation, it can be ads, it can be AI, but all you're doing is selling a solution to people, and what we help with is client acquisition. So we help you get clients for whatever agency you have or whatever business you have. We're good at when it comes to getting clients, okay? And the actual service part, we help you with the onboarding and, servicing the clients, all that. But majority of it is you, figuring out the service by yourself as well.
Yeah,
because there's so many services you can offer.
And I mean, that's essentially the skill set that you're supposed to be building, right?
Yeah.
Or essentially the team. So, and the service that we do specifically is, I mean, we work with influencers, and to put it into just very short, right? Let's say, for example, you work with, let's say, Iman Gatsi. He has a lot of long format. He invests a lot of time, effort, or whatever into that. And he wants to get the most out of that. He'll get us on to make short format videos of that, and then he obviously makes all his money through digital products, right? Which is courses, communities, whatever the case may be. So the more views he gets, the more money he makes on the back end. So that's how we structure it as well, right? We basically just clip and make short format videos on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for these brands. So that's, to a large degree, exactly what we do. And how do we go about doing that? Because obviously, between both of us, I think we did every single business model you possibly can online. What would you say was the main thing that decided or got you into doing the agency and not Forex, for example?
Yeah. So that was actually my two choices, was Forex trading or agency. And my thinking was, which one is going to be the hardest in the short term? Because if it's hard in the short term, usually it's going to pay off in the long term. And with agency, you are learning so much more skills. You are learning persuasion, you are learning email copywriting, you are learning email sending stuff, you are learning persuasion, you are learning sales, you are learning marketing, you are learning appointment booking, you are learning you are learning client communication, onboarding. You know how many stuff I can mention? But with Forex trading, right, you are learning like emotional management and pattern recognition, basically that. You're not learning sales or talking to clients and everything like that. Obviously, there are successful traders, 100%. But now, let's say you want to start another business after the agency, which most people do if they want to scale further. Now you need to learn the skills on top of that. Like now you need to learn sales from scratch. But with agency, you learn these skills from the start. And like I mentioned, this entire game is about acquiring skills. That's it. If the more skills you can acquire, the more money you'll make. It's just about getting more skills and getting your hands on more skills. And how do you do that? Usually paying people who's got your skills for their time. That's the game.
And to a large degree, agency is the cheapest business model you can start. Let's say as a South African, right? You might not have 200,000 Rand to throw on ads to do e-com, right? And Forex trading, it's a no-brainer. Like it's very obvious. You to an extent need money to make money, right? So
you can use funded accounts, right, to make money, but then they are taking your money as well as a percentage, and then ultimately you have to start your own one as well. I see like TJR. I watched some of his stuff, and he says that at a certain point you want to use your own money.
And in the process of doing that, you're going to lose money. It's like anything. It's like even with agency, with everything.
But agency, you're going to lose the least amount of money. That's ultimately why we chose it as well. We were in your exact situation. Think of this, we aren't we are humans as well going through this journey. We are maybe just 2 years ahead of you, right? We were in your exact situation where we were like, which business model should I choose? We are the same. We are 99.99% the same. And then we were like, okay, which one is going to serve me the best? And you thinking which one is going to serve you the best? And we chose agency because we wanted to make the most of money for the least amount of money, right? And that's why we chose agency. That's also why we suggest you start an agency, and that's why we help people start an agency.
And also, we're not ignorant because we're obviously starting a different business now, right? Which is a different form of service, just a different business model in general, right? Which is an info product. But we also say, right, from 0 to 50K a month, arguably
that's
you
dollars,
could say,
right? So say 0 to $1 million a month.
You could argue and say agency is the best business model for that, right? But anything above that, it's not really scalable. You could scale it. I'm not saying it's not possible. There's a lot of people that do it. A lot of people love the agency game and want to scale to 200K a month or whatever. I can argue and say you can mention a handful of agencies that get to that point, right? Because it's just a pain in the ass to do so. When you look at different business models, like for example, e-com is probably the best business model to scale in, right?
But it's not the best one to start.
Because you need capital. And you're going to spend a lot of money on ads to test. We're testing ads right now, and I can tell you, it's not a fun game.
I've spent 100,000 Rand on ads, and I've made like 80K back, which is good, or like 60K. But like I had to spend 100. I had to see 100,000 rand leave my account, and like, okay, cool, and then maybe hope for a client. And it took like 2 months.
Yeah.
So can you lose 100,000 rand and be fine with that,
Yeah.
and still keep spending money? I don't know. So that's why obviously I wouldn't suggest running ads for your agency when you're making at least like $20,000 a month. I wouldn't suggest running ads.
And like once again, to a large degree, you could argue and say any of these business models can work, but the problem just comes down, like it can work if you're continuously doing it for a long period of time, right? Like 2 to 3 years. But what we're trying to say is that it's a really difficult game, so don't play on hard mode, right? Like different business models is more difficult to pursue through the friction, right? Like with losing that money on ads, that's a tough game. Rather struggle with the problems that come with agency, right? Which is just different problems. And so but that's why we did the agencies, because it was cheaper as well. It's probably the easiest business model, and so
by the way, if you want like a 5-minute breakdown of all the business models, you can just check out the first link in the description. I think it's like how you want to, like the text before the link is sign your next 5 high-ticket clients in the next 3 months or something like that. Click on that link. You can do it after this video. It's like a 5-minute video breakdown showing exactly which business model, the pros and cons of each one. All these ones I mentioned, like forex trading, drop shipping. We go over each one, give you the pros and cons, and then you can make your own conclusion of which business model you want to start to make money online.
Exactly.
So you can just do that.
And I think the next part we can maybe speak about how we sort of looking at the industry in general, and like why we decided to maybe do an info product.
Oh yeah.
And I think a cool thing is, so obviously we got the agency and we got the info product, right? So the agency service delivery business, that's where we help people with the content, and the info product is essentially helping people scale and start agencies, right?
Exactly like we did, basically.
Yeah. And so obviously that is a lot more scalable, but you need authority to do so. You need a personal brand. You need to actually have a successful agency that you've scaled. Like you can't just do this. There's steps to this game, right?
Yeah, you can't jump to chapter 10 if you are chapter 1. Like you can't just do that.
Like how are you going to teach how to build an agency if you don't have a successful one, right? And also you can know how to build one, but if you can't market it with authority through a personal brand, how the hell are you going to sell it, right? So, you could probably just do ads then, but then still you need some authority. So, that's essentially the two businesses that we're focusing on right now. And what's sort of essentially just holding everything together to a large degree, maybe not agency specifically, but like personal brand, right? Like we obviously, you guys are watching this, if you know of us, you've obviously seen us through our content, right? Which is personal brand. We both have the personal brands and also the podcast that we're doing right now. And that's extremely valuable. It's a very difficult domain or thing to justify in the short term because you don't see the results like instantly, right? But long term, this is the best move you possibly could make.
There's only 2 businesses that will be relevant in the next 2 years, and that is a personal brand business and then an AI business. Or like you offering AI solutions to companies. So that's where we start, or we help the agencies implement AI solutions to companies. We are also now implementing AI in our, you should implement AI as much as you can with all of your services, right? If you just even insert the word AI in your offer, in your marketing, like you will get more replies.
Yeah.
So there's actually a stat that came out that 2 billionaires under 30 self-made, okay? Number 1 is Mr. Beast, personal brand. Number 2 is some AI guy in China or something, not to be racist, but like I think he's from China, and he's got like $1 billion net worth, and he's got like an AI company.
And so, also probably what's that Kardashian girl? She was like the youngest billionaire.
That's
ever.
also personal brand.
Personal brand. That's what I'm about to say.
I think it's males, but I'm not exactly sure what the headline was, but those are the 2 ones you want to focus on.
Yeah.
And I've been creating content on my YouTube for like 2 and a bit years now, and I got like couple hundred views on my first one, and then it just basically tapered off, and now it's doing pretty well. Okay, so it takes I was just documenting my agency journey. So if you want to check that out, I started my YouTube with no clients, no agency, nothing, and I documented everything till now. Like that is extremely valuable. It goes to show I didn't just spawn with an agency in this world. I also started from scratch. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to work. I knew it will work, but you're basically just sharing my stuff.
Yeah, and I also think when it comes to, for example, the 2 different things that Andre mentioned, how the industries will work well. When we talk about personal brand agencies, right? You don't necessarily have to start a personal brand around yourself. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But
Yeah.
like, some people don't want to be in front of the camera or whatever the case may be. You can help other people build their personal brands, which is exactly what we're doing right now with the content, right? You can structure it with different service deliveries, however you want to do it. Or you can actually even create an AI avatar or something and build a personal brand around that thing and then essentially sell that brand attention, right? Like something that I've seen now recently was, for example, in the model industry, you'll get a lot of these fitness influencers, they obviously look good, they gym, that's like their big thing, they look healthy, they got a lot of attention, and then they'll go and Nike will hire them to do some shoots for them because they look good, or supplement brands will then do collaborations with them because they get a lot of views in the niche or industry that they want views from, right, which is people that are interested in health. And now this AI generated avatar is also like this health avatar, whatever, and he essentially generates still all those views, but it's a guy that's probably overweight coding this thing, and he's generating that. And then he can still sell that. So that's an interesting way to look at it.
There's like a million ways to make $1 million, right? But also with personal brand, you want to play to your strengths. So I had a one-on-one call with Ty Lopez. It was like a year ago. He's like the Year of My Garage guy, right? One of the top paid ads.
If you don't know Ty Lopez says, that is your problem. That is the problem. Okay, is you're not learning enough.
Yeah,
like Iman, how do you not know who Iman Gatsi is, right?
Like you haven't searched how to make money.
Like that is,
Then you're just like, you're destined to be broke.
I mean, if you search that right now, hopefully this video comes up because the title is going to be something online of like, is it possible to make money online? But anyways,
Okay. Or you can even just say like how to make money online in South Africa. I think that's good.
Yeah.
We'll see. You can check the title down below, basically. And he told me, you want to obviously start a personal brand and you need to play to your strengths. So he told me, you need to become like the South African guy making money or something like that. So but that's exactly what I'm doing, right? It's playing to my strengths. Like no one in South Africa is really going hard on content in my angle and like helping people start agencies. Like I can think of like 2 people literally in South Africa, like 2. That's it. So there's no competition. Like
I
if
can't
I were
even
to go
think of one that's doing content on the level you are right now. I can't think of
with
one.
our content, like I know there's big South African influencer stuff, but like they are
in
usually,
our specific niche with NUC, I couldn't even think of one.
there's like almost no competition. Like that's where you want to be. You want to niche down as much as possible. With agency, like obviously with our consulting and personal brand, we are focusing on South Africans, helping them start their own agency. But with our agency, we are focused on American clients because we want to earn in US dollars. So we also, when we help our students, right, in founders acquisition, right, they are obviously South Africans, but we are helping them sign US clients and earn in dollars.
And that's also the big thing with the agency thing, and I think I mentioned that previously, but that's also why it's such a beautiful business model. If you're working in the online service delivery, you are utilizing to a large degree the same. You could probably do the exact same service you're doing right now, just for US clients, just making 18 times more, or whatever the case may be, right? It's like, for example, So I did I'm already full of sharing this story because I think everyone's heard it, but that's exactly, I don't think a lot of people have heard it. So when we went to this networking event, right, and Andre actually joined this Instagram group or something.
I remember I had a lot to drink that night. I was drinking 18,000 rand tequila. Oh, like after 2 shots, I'm like, yo.
So we went to this thing, and there were 16 people. We were the only South Africans there around a table of. I'm thinking of the first networking thing that led to that, right?
Okay,
and then we were the only 2 South Africans there. We were making so much less than all these guys, right? And but somehow we made it to that event.
How did we make it to that
You
event?
were on an Instagram group that you made from someone that was working with the influencer that you made. Just think about how fucking...
What like Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward when you connect it back. Like I was, when I got fired from working with Iman, and then I worked with another influencer, and this influencer had like a tribe community, and a person in that tribe community knew of me and knew I was in Cape Town, and he added me to a Instagram group where the dinner was now formed.
And so think about this from my perspective, right? I only got added because Andrew didn't want to go alone, and I knew Andrew, and I knew him from the gym, and
I was going alone, just adding a +1.
Or just adding a plus or whatever. Yeah. So then we got there, and essentially, this was the story I mentioned previously we ordered a bit less. Like, we didn't go and order crazy wine and stuff because, like, at that time, I didn't have 3,000 rand to spend on dinner, right? I still struggled to justify that.
We could, but it's just
why
we're
would we
going to
do
spend
that?
all our money.
I'm not going to justify that, right?
Yeah.
And so... but then what we didn't know is what they just splitted the bill between all of us.
All
so we were
16.
paying for everyone's shit, right? So if I knew that,
I
I would
remember
have
like the
fucking...
steak. I think we bought like a 300 gram. Like let's say sirloin. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to go like 200 grams, like fucking rump. Like at least like.
So we still do it. Like I was happy to spend 500 rand.
I
right?
just remember we were sitting there, and this was completely new to us. Like we were sitting there, and every like 5 minutes there's a new sparkling water on the table.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's
who's paying for
60
this?
rand, 60 rand, 60 rand.
I'm like,
and these
okay.
guys were getting all this stuff like fucking. And anyway, so we end up spending like close to 2,000 rand, I think, or something down that line.
No, I remember it was 800 rand.
Was it 800?
Yeah, like 850. But still,
Irrelevant.
but still, like the steak we bought was like 220 rand. We're like, okay, and then the bowl came, they were like 800. I'm like, yo,
Oh, wow, I
what,
can't remember to be there.
what did I pay for? What's going on here? So then,
It was a lot more than what I was expecting to pay, right?
Yeah,
That was the point. And so we then paid that, and I told Andrew afterwards, I'm like, fuck, like like this was this even worth it? Like fuck this, I'm never doing this again. And then the next day,
technically, you paid like 800 rand to make like
100,000 rand. And so the
Yeah.
guy, the guy essentially probably making the most money there was Serge Guattari, right? And I met him there, but I literally just waved at him, right? Like I don't know, I was actually fanboying a bit when I saw him the first time. And because we saw this guy on YouTube, right? We were used to seeing him on YouTube or whatever.
that parasocial relationship is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like when you see someone on YouTube, it's like you are kind of like, how do I see it? Like you are.
You know him. He has
you're looking at him, but he doesn't know
you
who
at
you
all.
are. So you kind of like.
You are friends with him, but he has no idea who you are.
Yeah. You know him so
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, "What's your name?"
Yeah, and
It's kind of weird.
So, he the next day basically said he needed a production guy or production team to shoot everything that they're going to be there for the week because they were staying there at a villa with a client for like that week. And so I basically just entered and said like, yo, nice meeting you yesterday at dinner, right? Obviously that means I'm a certain caliber of person, whatever. And then I was like, yo, I can do whatever you need. Let's
be your
move out.
slave,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's do it.
And essentially one thing led to another, and I did work for 4 days there, and I got paid 100,000 rand for 4 or 5 days worth of work, which was the best work I've ever
No,
done.
but you're skipping the best part.
Well,
I told you.
but,
to-
okay. So I didn't know what to charge him, right? Because I did do the best work I possibly could, and I was really unsure as to what should I charge, right? Because it was such awesome
first time
people,
working
whatever,
with, like,
with US
people.
clients. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, just charge him 5K, and I'm like, 5,000 rand seems pretty good. He's like, no, 5K US. That's literally 18 times more, right? And I'm like, there's no fucking ways you're gonna pay this, so you mull. And then I charged him that. I basically just prayed, and I'm like, Lord, please, like, let this come through, like. And then he basically just paid without like a ooh or ah, right? And
Wire sent.
okay, so then he just paid that, and it was a crazy feeling, right? I made more money in those 4 or 5 days than I made in the previous 4 or 5 months because I was averaging 18 to 22,000 rand a month at the previous job that I was working.
Here's the thing: you were doing the exact same service.
Exactly.
That's what I'm telling people, like the students as well. You are providing the exact same service, but instead of working with South African clients who are mostly cheap, right? Like, whatever. But if you do that exact service for US clients, you can charge 18 times more and make 18 times more money by doing the exact same service. So that's basically what we teach. And then you can spend in rand, earn in dollars. It's the ultimate cheat code.
And like, now that I was aware of that industry, I couldn't operate out of ignorance anymore. Do you really think I could go back to my job and make 18,000 rand a month after doing that per day, basically? Like, you cannot go back. Because now I know if I don't do that service, someone else in the world will fill up my spot and do that service for me, right? So, like, I physically could not go back. And so I knew, no matter what, I knew I had to somehow find a way to make this a reality. And even when I spoke with the boss at that time, which once again, like I mentioned previously, an amazing guy, he basically fired me because I didn't want to go, because I was so afraid it wasn't going to happen. Even though, and put
I
this
think
into
that's what happened
perspective.
to me as well when I got fired. Like he saw there was, you did something big. It's kind of like him, you are like a bird and he's kicking you out of the nest,
Because
It's
I was doubtful and fearful. That's like, oh, but what happens if this is like one-time thing? I'll never make it again. Just put it in perspective. You made your monthly salary in 1 day times 5, right? Like per day for 5 days, right? And you were still afraid that it wasn't going to happen and that it was only a one-time thing. I was young enough to leave, still staying at my parents', and I made all that money. Like, there was no real reason for me not to go. And my boss basically said, if this doesn't work in 6 months, you can always come back and we'll happily accept you back. So I actually had no reason to not do it, and still doubt and fear almost withholded me from taking action.
Yeah, even
So-
Alex and Moses said the hardest decision he's made ever so far in his business journey. And this guy's made $75 million in 6 hours,
Yeah.
okay?
Like
This is-
literally 2 days, 3 days ago.
How much is that? More than R1 billion in 6 hours, okay? Just put that in perspective. And it didn't really even sell. And he said the hardest decision he still had to make is leaving his 9-to-5 job.
Yo.
Yeah. So if you're faced with that decision, obviously it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but you want to operate in like the Jeff Bezos regret minimization framework, which is basically, are you going to regret not doing this? Probably, but you aren't going to regret, like working in the same job and doing the same thing over and over for 40 years. Like you are 100% going to regret that, but you're not going to regret trying this thing and maybe failing and going back. Like most people don't regret trying; they regret not trying, right?
I think all of that, even in the situation I was at, it all made sense to me, right? Like I knew I'm gonna regret not taking the thing, and I would want to do this, and I knew I didn't want to stay there long term. There was no growth. Like everything on paper made sense, but still it was difficult for me to take action. I think what really helps is to get around people that you can relate to. That makes it a bit easier, because if you can, for example, that was time when me and Andrew started spending a lot of time together and started working and thinking of businesses and all this stuff and whatever, and that helped me a lot to take action, because I'm like, yeah, okay, this guy's just as crazy as me. If I'm gonna go broke, he's gonna go broke with me, right? So it's almost like you had someone to
Captain
do
goes down
things
with
with.
his ship,
Yeah. And it's like, if you are surrounded with other entrepreneurs that are all sort of taking risks together, it just feels normal. It just feels a bit easier, because instead of like where you're on your 9-to-5, where literally no one is doing that, right? Because they in the 9-to-5, like it's difficult for you to justify that, because now it's not the norm, and so it's difficult to take that action in the beginning. So I think if you're thinking of moving out of your 9-to-5, first get on a couple of courses, right? So people go to networking events, like see that it's possible, and once you've seen that it's possible, right? Like, it's going to be so much easier to justify taking that leap of faith. And I think a very easy way to come to a point where you can justify it is, Andrew and I are generally from fucking Kraaifontein, like, what Uitzig, like, bro, it's like, we're from Durbanville, right? We are fairly normal people. Like, if you go ask any of our friends, I almost, like, dope Skynant, right? Like, I'm not a smart guy
Like, if
either.
you would say, if I would have told my high school under, like, yo, you're going to be decent at sales. It's
like,
like,
what the fuck?
That's a complete opposite of, if someone think, oh, sales guy, I would be lost on the list. And that's probably why I'm pretty up there, because, like, I need to justify whatever.
Yeah.
It's usually your weaknesses. The business is the best form of self-improvement, because it's going to expose your insecurities so much. It's going to expose every single insecurity that you have, and obviously if you're exposed to it, you need to work on it, because you want to progress in business. So entrepreneurship, if you are watching this, you are probably invested in not personal branding, but like
personal progression, self-improvement.
Self-improvement. Like business and entrepreneurship is the best vehicle for that.
Yeah.
It's tough, but that's ultimately why it's the best.
Every single because like everything actually started with me just wanting to first of all get a six-pack and lose all my acne, right? I just wanted to hit the gym and be healthy, because a girl broke my heart, and I'm like, fuck her. And then that thing led to self-improvement. Then I wanted to focus on my style and my hair or whatever. And then one thing led to another. And like self-improvement, part of becoming a great man is to get your money in check, right? And like, I think every single form of self-improvement, like YouTube channel, whatever, all leads to a point. It almost funnels you down to business and entrepreneurship, because you need to make money to be a good man as well, right? And so
there's a quote that said, money makes the man, in a sense. Because what does it really justify? It shows that you can provide value to society if you make a lot of money. If you make millions of rand, it's like, you've got someone is paying you that money. It's not just like spawning into your account. Someone has to, you can't make money. Someone has to give you money. That's one thing you need to like lock in. It's like you just don't make money like the Federal Reserve prints money. You can't do that. You literally need to take someone else's money in a sense, right? Obviously, okay, someone needs to give you money. Like, let's just say it like that. But you can't just take it from them, right? They need to give you, so you need to be persuasive where, you know, you showcase that you have a solution to their problem. And like you, let's say you have a problem and you are hungry. Like I bought that coffee. I wasn't hungry, but I was looking for caffeine and some energy. So I gave money for that coffee. It's the exact same with the service. They have a problem, they're lacking views, like let's say with us, they want to grow on social media and grow their personal brand. We've got the solution for that. Perfect logical exchange. You give me money, I want the money. They want the social media growth. Boom, everyone's happy. It's a win-win situation. We both we both are in this relationship where we both want the thing we gave to each other.
And like smaller details come into play, right? Because sometimes your client was really, really hungry for some steak, and so that's what you sell them and provide that to them and promise them. But then tomorrow they wake up and they regret eating steak or whatever. Or the better analogy could be eating cake, right? Like then you sell them cake and they regret eating the cake or whatever. And it's like, I think a very important part of business and just in general is managing expectations. And that I've learned in the info part, but also in the agency. It's like you want to set the intentions. Like if you set the intention correctly, you're going to minimize the friction that you work through with clients. If clients expect, and that's what over-promising and under-delivering happens. Like if you promise them the world and you deliver them a fucking like nothing, like that's going to be the worst thing ever. You're going to get headaches of clients. Like we don't get headaches with clients because we manage expectations. There will always be one or two clients, you know, that still just unhappy or whatever. But that's just the nature of the game, right? And I think that's also where conviction in your own product, like at least puts your heart at rest, right? Knowing that you have a good product withholds you from beating yourself up because one client isn't happy about the service, right? If you know your product is good, like that's why I don't know how these people that essentially just focus on persuasion and marketing and not product, I don't know how they must feel every day, knowing that their product isn't good. Like I know our products are good, so I can actually go to bed feeling at peace, right? And if I ever struggle with clients, I always know our product is good, and there might just be a lack of communication or whatever.
So people make decisions based on contrast, right? It's not like someone makes a decision blank statement like, yo, this is good or bad. It's only good or bad compared to other things. So a program is only good or bad compared to other programs. And I've been through the best programs in the marketplace, like every single one of them. Not every single one of them, but I've been through the best programs in the space, okay? The best. I've spent a lot a lot of money, okay, and wasted.
And without a doubt, right? Like he's not just saying like 100%.
Like I literally went through it. Like I spent that money. I went, and 60% of it were trash. The other 40% were extremely good. Okay, so I've been through the best of the best, and I've seen some people's terrible products. It's like shit. And these guys are making $500,000 a month. Okay, 10 million rand a month. Okay, and they've got shit products. So our one is at least better than that. So why can't we make $500,000 a month? Okay, that's basically it's based on contrast. If you've only been through one program, you don't know if it's good or bad. But if you've been through 10, you know, okay, this one is good, this one's a bit better, this one's the best, because you can compare it. And I've been through all of it, and I can tell you, our one is not there yet, right? We're obviously working on it continuously. Like we're going to be working on this through the years, obviously.
Continuously progression and improving
on the product, but you know, obviously it takes time. But I can tell you for a fact, we have already got like 90% of the foundation.
So and I think part of the reason why we are transitioning, so that's sort of like agency set aside, right? The reason why we've moved into like the info space now is because it's more scalable to a large degree. You put a lot more effort into the front end and building out the product, right? It takes years. And also, you need a couple of other things, right? You need a personal brand, you know how to market things, persuasion. You obviously need to know what you are teaching them, right? So you need to be wise. And to a large degree, I think you need to be passionate about learning in general. I think that's what Andrew and I are really passionate about, is studying and learning. And that's why info is such a no-brainer space for us. But also, when you just put when you start creating a product and you build the product out for 2-3 years, right? It's that initial investment. Obviously, you'll make add-ons and improvements along the way. But to a large degree, the product is built. It's built. Then you just sell it. Whereas when it comes to, to an extent, service delivery, like you could almost say this is delayed service delivery. It's like you put so much effort in service delivery, which is the product, then it's finished. And then you got the thing. Then you just sell it.
Like we said, the job is instant, like a 9 to 5 job is instant gratification.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
your paycheck after 30 days. Entrepreneurship is delayed gratification. Then you get delayed gratification games in the entrepreneurship game.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
delayed
yeah.
on delayed gratification. And you know, if you delay something like, you know, obviously you don't want to delay forever. You know, you
Yeah.
don't want to delay
You want to
until
tap
you're,
into it.
Oh yeah, you don't want to delay for 90 years and then buy the Ferrari or Bugatti. Like you don't want to be 90 with
Yeah.
it, okay? So the delayed gratification game in the delayed gratification game, which is entrepreneurship, okay, is info product, because you build it for 2 years and then people start to realize after 2 years on top of that that is actually good, and then you just like compound like crazy. So I'm telling you, like we probably the compounding game is insane. For like the next year or so, we're probably not going to make a lot of money from the info product. But a year or two after that, it's going to be like $100,000, $200,000 a month. And I'm not even kidding with that. It's you build the product once and then you can sell it forever. So it's a more delayed, and then the compounding on that is massive. And it's all these trends aligning. It's personal brand growth is going to be massive. There's no competition in South Africa. And I can just see all these things. You need to play to your strengths, and that when it comes to consulting, like the info product industry is growing. It's going to triple in the next 6 years. All that money from the traditional education system is coming to online education system. People are seeing the traditional one and like, yo, this is pretty bullshit. All that money has to go somewhere. No one in South Africa is doing it. We are spending a lot of time and effort into the product, so we're going to be best in the market when people catch up. It's just so many things that are aligned. It just takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then it's going to be like, we don't like. A lot of people say, a lot of people say this. They say, I knew it was going to be successful, but I didn't know it's going to be this big, and that's exactly what's going to happen with our one as well.
And if you want to be a part of that movement, link down in the description, right? Founders Acquisition. This is a movement we are building, right? I think. That's a big thing. We really built this product for ourselves essentially, right? For our younger selves, like the ideal place to be and thing to have if you want to build an online business in South Africa. Okay, it's focused around other people. So like I mentioned previously, the main thing to make the friction you have to move through to building an online business in South Africa easier is to surround yourself with people that's also going through that pain, right? Which is the community. Then we got modules in there teaching you exactly how to build it from scratch, how to start the business in America through this business rocket or whatever, to get all the documents in place to actually be able to use Stripe, which is the payment processor. Like there's so many different aspects that's unique to South Africans specifically that you get a unique insight on where you don't get anywhere else, just because we've done it through South Africa. Obviously, we are South Africans, right? So, I mean,
here's the cool thing. All for free.
Yeah, all for free.
It's literally free.
So, I mean, if you are South African wanting to make money online, and even more specific, right? If you are under 28 and a male, holy shit, bro, you are the ideal person to join this thing, right? So we got people all over the space. We got, women, we got people over 30, but like predominantly, right? Like that is sort of the main type of client or avatar that we are working with, right?
Yeah, people in their 20s looking to make money online. And the thing is, we also teach health in there because we believe like all of this is to set up your life in the best possible way, is to live that top 1% lifestyle. 100%. And you need like the straight 7 system, okay? you need the entire package.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a billionaire and overweight and fat. Yeah. You want to be jacked. You want to have a nice tan, lean, shredded, and millions in the bank.
Yeah.
Like, come on, there's not a better life on earth than that.
And there's not a single product in the world that does what we do. We, as a bonus, give you health modules, which is, that's what I predominantly am in charge of. It is, and I have been through, once again, some of the best health courses in the industry right now. And I can tell you right now, the sheer amount of volume that's just in the 2 weeks alone, or the first week that's free, right? It is more extensive than most health courses in total.
And they're paid ones.
And it's paid, right? It is ridiculous. That is excluding the paid modules, right? So, we cover everything through just the principles of health in general, right? Then we go through nutrition, fitness, mindset, different other protocols. I'm working on a cookbook, right? There's so many, everything you need to know about health, and specifically lifestyle orientated, right? Living in accordance with nature, right? I'm not here to do your blood work and to get you on different pharmaceutical pills, stuff like that. In fact, I want you to operate on an enhanced physique naturally. And I can promise you right now, it's so much easier to do so if you actually just know like small tweaks to do, right? It's not actually that difficult. But it sounds, it's simple, but it's not easy. And I think your entire, your life experience is experienced through your vessel. So your vessel quality alters your life experience. And so if you are unhealthy, your mind is unhealthy, your thoughts are unhealthy, you will transition, your business will be unhealthy, right? How you approach sales calls and meetings and talking with people and how you walk into a room, how you deliver your thoughts, all gets affected through the quality of your vessel. And so, yeah, I mean, we both started in the gym, so that's a testimony.
We started in the gym, we met in the gym, and the business and the gym have so much similarities, it's insane. And I actually asked ChatGPT, if you, like, to be top 1% in South Africa, you need $200,000 net worth, okay? That's top 1%. That doesn't even, that's all ages, by the way, okay? All ages in South Africa, top 1% is $200,000 net worth. Now, if you are in your early 20s on top of that, so you are younger and you have this net worth, okay, which agency is the best way to do that in the quickest manner possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but like I said in this video also down below, is there's no such thing as get rich quick. There's such a thing as get rich quicker. This is the quickest way to do it. I'm not going to say it's overnight, but it's the quickest way to do it. To get that net worth, again, that's top 1%. Okay, now you're in the top 1% wealth-wise in the entire South Africa, but in your early 20s, you're probably 0.1%. On top of that, let's say you want shape, right? There's less people in the US that have a six-pack than, I think there's 10 times less people that have a six-pack that have $1 million. So that's 5 times more than the 1% net worth in South Africa. So if you are in shape in your early 20s and you have $200,000 net worth, you're in the top 0.001% in this world, in South Africa. And if you have that, you're gonna have the best life on this earth. I'm telling you.
To a large degree,
It's insane.
I can almost guarantee that the majority of those people is gonna come out of our community in the next 3 years.
Oh yeah.
People that are jacked, and like if that's your goal, you want to get jacked and rich, I'm telling you, there's no better place to be. That's exactly what we're trying to do and build here, right? And it's a movement.
All for the reason to find a nice wife.
Yeah.
Like Dr. David Buss is the Harvard professor, right, in evolutionary psychology. And he says everything comes down to mating. Yeah. Mating is basically like, getting a wife or like woman or whatever. So we want to get to the top so we can get access to the best woman. So if you're in your early 20s, like this is the best way to do it, I'm telling you.
What happens if you already have a woman?
You can get more. You can get more.
I think like I also think, for example, like this. What did Chris Williams and I think Alex say about the joy thing, or was it them? Like it's you delay all these things to become successful, to ultimately feel a sense of joy or happiness.
Yeah.
But you also sacrifice the goal, which is the joy of sacrifice in the present moment, so that you can hopefully get that as a byproduct of the goal that you have right now, which is success.
But then Naval said that he got happier as he made more money.
So there is no, So
because he's following his natural curiosity.
Because he's following his natural curiosity, and I think that's a good thing. So on a podcast with Chris Williams and what's the guy you just mentioned? And Naval. He basically just they spoke about success and joy, right? And Chris Williams basically said, in the process of achieving success, which is ultimately the goal of success is to, reach a sense of joy,
peace
or happiness or whatever. But for you to essentially achieve that joy, right, that comes from success, you have to sacrifice the joy in the present moment to essentially delay that, right, to achieve the success and the joy. So essentially, you sacrifice the thing you want for the thing that you have.
That's supposed
you could
to
have
get
right
it.
now.
That's
Supposed to get it. I butchered that. But anyway.
No, but like that's some matrix stuff going on.
And and I think Naval basically just said, like Andre mentioned previously, right? It's like you by following what he deems to be purposeful that brings him joy,
passion,
he actually made more money.
Yeah.
And so he didn't sacrifice one for the other. Because a lot of people tend to think like, okay, should I follow what I'm passionate about, that brings me happiness or whatever? And it's like doing what we're doing right now. Okay, how we got there, we had to, work through different things. But I have never been as passionate about doing a podcast and building this info products as I've been about anything in my life, right? And so you can imagine bringing that excitement to work every day. is gonna, and also because I'm passionate about it and I find purpose in it, I'm gonna do it for a longer time period, right? And I'm gonna enjoy doing it. I'm gonna put my hours in. That's gonna lead to a bigger financial result in any case. And so I am, to a large degree, focusing on what I find, what I'm passionate about, and what brings me the most joy. And as a byproduct, I'm making more money as well. Maybe not in the short term, but because I value the joy, in the it's irrelevant, right? And long term, I'm gonna make more money through this.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
It's cool that you guys are on this journey right now and seeing this. You're still extremely early. Just
Yeah.
give it a couple years. Give it like 3 years. I'm telling you, this is going to be absolutely massive, right? So, yeah, you can even screenshot this and record it, whatever. Like, you'll see. But yeah, it's cool that you guys are on this journey. I think we've been filming for like an hour 20 now.
Yeah, we can probably wrap it up here. I
fine.
think this could be a testimony to how delusional you need to be, right? I don't know, I might seem very delusional. To me, it seems just like a normal thing to say, right? Is to project these ideas out. But it's so
Like,
weird.
yeah, like Conor McGregor said, if you can see it in here, in your mind, and you have the courage to speak it, it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. Like, if you don't have the courage to speak it, like, me just saying words, like, it's me saying words is much easier than actually working for 3 years. So if you can't even, like, at your laptop for 8 hours a day, deep work, it's much easier just to say, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, it's much easier to say that than it is to do the work. So if you can't even say that, how on earth are you
Yeah.
going to actually do it?
Yeah.
So you have to say it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the whole keep your goals private. I don't believe in that whatsoever. Even when I started my YouTube channel, I'm like, yo, here's how I'm going to become a millionaire. I had no money to my bank account. Nothing. So I was just like, speaking it into existence. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
People are going to think you're crazy. And then I'm like, yes. And now what?
Yeah.
So, yes, I am. And then they're like, fair enough. Okay.
I mean, I think you're crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, well, how do you, how do you work in a 9 to 5? Like, it's, yeah. I don't want to project anything, right? Like people can do whatever they want. That's what the message I'm trying to spread, right? Like, you're justified to do whatever you want.
But don't settle for things you don't want. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like you have these dreams when you were younger. Don't now
Exactly.
say, oh, it's a bit unrealistic. Like, yeah. Like, don't say that. Don't say that. You know what you want, and you can
Yeah.
truly, if it's humanly possible, consider it
to be
within
within
reach.
reach,
You know,
yeah.
it's humanly possible. Like, we did it. We're gonna do it. We are people from Durbanville with like who did pretty shitty in school. Got like maybe 60s on average, right? Like. Nothing special whatsoever. When people think of sales, I'm the last on the list, and persuasion and all these things, but I'm pretty decent at it right now. So you can really drastically change your life. And this has only been like 2.5, 3
Well,
years.
yeah, not even, like-
well, like we barely even 2% of what we've done. I'm not even kidding.
crazy, and and also a testimony to our like how we are operating, right? All the money is going reinvested back into the business as well, right? Which is like a big thing. It's like we're not doing this just for like the short term. Like, this is a long term thing we're trying to do, right? So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm happy to have you guys along for the journey, and I think you guys are going to learn a lot as we document everything. And I think the podcast is also like I think we started it more as the idea to just like talk to some interesting people and sort of just like talk or like film our conversations, because this is to a large degree how our normal conversations look like, right? But I think it's cool because now you can sort of how should you say, like put it in stone, your thoughts, right? And so looking back at our first episode, I think we said something very similar like this, like, yo, give it a 1 year and look how successful we'll be. I'm probably gonna have a look at that
No, but
first
like,
episode
that's
again.
the thing with like, it's another thing about delayed gratification. So for like the first 5 years, okay, like let's have a podcast or even of my YouTube channel, or even business and content in general, entrepreneurship, okay? For the first 5 years, you're probably going to achieve 5% of success, right? And then the 6th year, you're going to achieve 5% in that 1 year alone. And then the 7th year, you're going to achieve 10%. So it's just like this exponential curve. For the first 3 years, you're going to see nothing, and then it just like explodes. I think Lionel Messi said it took him 10 years and 114 days to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
like, I think if you're taking the action, because I could argue and say that this is already successful, the podcast, right? Because if you know what you need to do to get to where you want to be, by extension, just by then taking that action needed, you are already successful, because then it's inevitable. You just need to continue taking the action, right? Obviously depending on how you see success, but that has helped me to take action when the fruit of your labor takes a while. Then just seeing you taking the action as the success, that's a good way to look at it. But then also you get into a different argument where your entire what do you call it? Like how you see yourself becomes very transactional, because then the point comes, if you don't do the things, you feel unsuccessful, which might be the case, right? Maybe the cost of the dream life that you want means you need to have a transactional self-worth, which I don't necessarily think is a very healthy thing. But yeah, that's a conversation and maybe an essay for another day. So thanks for joining us on the pod, and
Check out the links below, and also comment the soldier emoji if you watch to the absolute end. Then we know you're a real one.
all right,
See you.
cheers.